Hi, my name is Madison, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make a macrame wall hanging, just like this one. So normally I teach workshops in person, but right now I'm doing online workshops. So if you purchase the kit for this one on my Etsy shop, it should come with 10 pieces of rope, measured out 10 feet long, and then split in half with a lark's head knot, like this. Also, it should come with 3 wooden beads. So I put together this kit along with some instructions on my Etsy shop to follow along with this video. Okay, so normally with macrame, the first step is to measure out your rope and cut it and then attach it to a wooden dowel or driftwood or a wooden ring if you're making a plant hanger. So if you ordered the kit off my Etsy shop, I've already done that for you. So it should come just like this on the wooden dowel with all of the rope already attached, measured out, everything's ready to go. So if you are doing your own and you didn't order my kit, you can just measure out rope. I did 10 pieces. Each one of them was 10 feet long. So I normally do from arm to arm twice. And then you split it in half and you go over the wooden dowel with a lark's head knot. So I chose this pattern because I liked how it was spaced out. You could see all of the square knots are really spaced out. And then I attached the beads in the center. And this one is more of kind of like a boho look. It's longer than my other pieces. So to get this look, when you do each row of square knots, you're going to space it out however much you want. So if you want it really long and spaced out, do a pretty big gap. But if you want it a little bit more condensed, do the square knots a little closer together. So the knot we're doing in this piece is a square knot. So I'm going to zoom up and teach you real quick how to do that square knot, and you're going to do the whole piece like that. To do a square knot, you're going to take 4 pieces of rope. Starting with the left side, you're going to go over the 2 center cords, taking the right cord all the way down, then behind the 2 center cords and through the loop. You're going to pull equally on the right and left side. Then to finish the square knot, you're going to take this, do the same knot, but take the right cord over the 2 center cords, take the left cord down, behind the 2 center cords and through the loop created by the right side. Then pull all the way up. Make sure your 2 center cords are straight and not tangled inside. Then pull tightly. So now that you know how to do a square knot, we're going to start on the left side and move all the way across. And I'm not going to start right at the base of the wooden dowel. I'm going to drop it down a little bit because I want that more spaced out boho look. So I grab my first 2 strands of rope on the left side. And I'm going to stop right there. It's a little over an inch, and right here. So there's my first square knot. Now I'm going to go to the next set of 4 ropes and do my next square knot. So you want them to be even all the way across. So you have 5 square knots all the way across your first row. Okay, the next row we're going to drop down, and these are called alternating square knots. To do an alternating square knot, you take 2 pieces of rope from both square knots above it. There's your 4. Then you do a square knot. And then from the right side, square knot. And you pull all the way up. There's your alternating square knot. So it's the same knot you tie, but there's not going to be 5, there's going to be 4 because you're going to leave out the far 2 cords on the right side and the left side. So let me show you. So you're going to pull out these 2 cords Some people like to drape them over to get them out of the way so they don't distract you. And then these two. So you drape them out of the way, and now you're going to grab the first 4 pieces of rope on the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's called an alternating square knot because it is going to connect the top 2 square knots into one, right there. So you take those and you do another square knot. And you do the same amount of spacing that you did on the first row. Right there. And then you take the next 2 that you haven't used, right there. Do another square knot. Okay. And the next 2 and the next 2. So the third row down, we're going to drop the 2 outside cords back down, and it should be, a normal row would be alternating square knots, so there should be 5 knots, but instead we're going to replace the middle knot with a bead. So drop these 2 down, and then you start from the left side and you do a normal knot. Right there. Okay, and then you're going to do a second square knot. Okay, just like that. Now this middle one is going to be where the bead is. So those next 4 ones you're going to skip. So if it helps, you can go to the far right side and you're going to take the first far right and do 2 square knots moving inwards. So these 4 on the outside. There's your first one. And then move to the second 4 right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should have 2 on each side and 4 cords in the middle. So the next step is to take one of your large wooden beads, and if you're doing this from home without my supplies kit, the best beads for macrame have a really large opening so you can slip them onto the rope easily. Now you're going to take the 2 center cords, so both should have an extra rope on the left side and the right side. Go all the way down and just slip on the bead. The ends might be a little bit frayed, so you just have to really twist them in there. And then pull up all the way. And I like it to rest right in the middle. You can move it up a little bit higher and move it down after you tie the knot so it doesn't slip down, but it should just stay there without anything. And the way to hold it in place is to do another row of square knots. So we're going to keep it hanging out there for a minute, and then we're going to do another row of alternating square knots. So it's alternating, so you're going to take the 2 pieces out, the left and the right, and then do right there. So you're grabbing these 4, so 2 of the bead ones. Okay. And then the next 4, sorry. Like that. And then the last 4. Pull those down. And then you can adjust the bead See how it goes in the middle? Just right to sit right there perfectly in the middle. So with this pattern, you're going to alternate the beads on each row. So the next row is going to be a bead row. So you can go ahead and do that right here. And now the next row is going to be a solid row to lock in that bead. Now you're going to repeat this process one more time to fit in that last bead. So now that you have all of your beads on, we can move on to the final stages of the pattern. In this wall hanging, I dropped some knots along the edge and made a V-shaped. But if you want a square shaped at the bottom, like this, you can just keep going, alternating square knots. So each row, 5 knots, 4 knots, 5 knots, all the way till the end, however long you want it. I'm going to teach you how to drop some knots on each side to create a V shape at the end. So I'm going to do another row of 5 knots, and then we'll start dropping them down. Okay, so just like earlier, every time we did the alternating square knot row, we would take out 2 pieces on both sides. So we're going to do 4 knots all the way across. So then we're going to take another 2 pieces on the left and the right side. So that leaves you with 3 knots going all the way across. Okay, you can see the pattern happening, so you guessed it, we're going to pull out another 2 from both sides. If you can't pull them all the way out and drape them over, just move them aside so you don't mix them up with the ones you're supposed to use. See, just not going to count that one. So you should have 4 right there. And 4 right there. Okay. Your rope is probably getting pretty short, so you can't really drape them out, but your pattern should look like this. You should have 2 left right there, and then you're just going to take the center 4 cords, so the closest 4 cords in the middle, and do one last alternating square knot. So mine are right here, so there's 2 and 2. So these 4. So that's how you make the V shape at the bottom of your piece with square knots. Once again, if you want to just keep going with alternating square knots, you can do a whole long piece until your rope runs out and you want to trim it or keep it long, however you would like. So here is your final piece. Thank you so much for doing this workshop with me. Thank you for buying my supplies kit on Etsy if you did purchase that. If you have any other questions, just shoot me a message on my Instagram account @DesignByMads. Thank you guys.